Hello, welcome, and most of all, congratulations. We're going to spend a few minutes because of the many questions and inquiries we've been receiving on proper placement training, because we are right now embarking on the rollout of our DubLi D2G2 compensation plan. This is an enhancement to our already incredible and lucrative compensation plans, which pays us on the back end now for all of our customers who are spending money and saving money, and we're getting paid 25% on the money they save. But we are now embarking upon the most powerful, the most dynamic, and the most lucrative compensation plan out there. And so we want to spend just a few minutes because there have been many questions and people are asking, well, if I'm a sales director or above, I get to pick and choose on all my personally enrolled business associates how to place them. Now, for those of you that have never been involved in a binary before, take heart because these are common questions. We all have to learn. And of course, if you have someone in your upline that has been successful in building a team with the binary comp plan, they'll explain the many dynamics and the mechanics of the D2 or binary compensation plan. But dual would indicate two, as we've shown you here in the illustration. If you're at the top, you're going to sponsor someone on your left, you're going to sponsor someone on your right, which is indicated by the number 1 and the number 2. Naturally, you can sponsor more than 2 people. You can sponsor a third and you can sponsor a fourth. One of the exciting things, although there are many, but one of the most exciting things is when number 1 sees you place number 3 under him, he's excited because his team is growing and he too is going to get paid on that volume just as you are, because with the dual team commissions, we get paid on unlimited depth, unlimited volume until we max out the D2 side of our comp plan, which maxes out at $1.3 million a year. Now, even more exciting is the G2 side, but we're not going to focus on that for the moment. But when you look at the industry, the biggest incomes, over 85% of the incomes, the top incomes, are earned with dual team structures or binary structures. And we call them hybrids because they also pay matching checks. Now, that's the G2 side of our business. And what we find with this type of compensation plan is most of your income is going to be coming from the G2 side as you're getting matching checks on your leaders. Now, the good news is as we work together and we're building and people are receiving spillover in their business, which means that you're placing someone under someone already in the business and they're getting paid on that same volume, it rapidly increases our income, which is one of the reasons people love this type of compensation plan. Now, we're doing this video because we want everyone to get prepared for November the 9th. November the 9th, midnight, November the 9th, East Coast time, we are rolling out officially the D2G2 enhancement, which is an overlay to our already existing compensation plan. Now, as you're watching the illustration right now, originally, you saw those 6 people frontline to you, which is the way your genealogy looks right now with our existing comp plan, and that's not going to change. However, we are migrating over everyone from the old genealogy who will still remain where they are and get paid where they are based on the customers and their business. But now we're going to get paid additional money based on the D2 side of the comp plan. So you're going to look at sponsoring people as you continue to develop. And as you sponsor new people, they're going to go at the bottom of either your left side or on your right side. But for the moment, for the next 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, you are going to receive the ability, and we're going to show you how you're going to do that in just a moment. You're going to have the ability to pick and choose whether you want people placed on your left side or on your right side. Now, ideally, you want to be sure that you have at least 6 people. Now, if you are a newly qualified sales director, you may have only sponsored 3 people, because we all know you can get to sales director with just 3 team coordinators under you. So if you've only sponsored 3, to maximize this comp plan, as we're going to show you in a moment, you want to make sure you've sponsored at least 6 people to maximize the payout. Now, let's take a look at the D2 side of our compensation plan. in terms of something that is critical to know and understand. Because whether we have 3 people, which you have a minimum of 3 if you're a sales director, or you have 5, which is the minimum you would have to have if you are a vice president or senior vice president, although some of you may have 6, some of you may have 12, some of you may have 20, 30. But in order to maximize the comp plan, at least 6 of your personally enrolled business associates must have sponsored 2 people, one on their left and one on their right. Now, very simply, what this means is they need to become qualified. Now, the first thing we do, of course, is become active, which we do when we purchase the basic package for $594 and we start out as a team member, or we purchase what today we call the TLA package, but as of November the 10th, the name is changing to the PPA package, PPA standing for Partner Program Accelerator. It's still the same price, $24.75, but you can become active by purchasing either package. Now, of course, we have to remain active. So in order for you to maximize the comp plan, you got to make sure your people remain active. That means they either recruit 1 VIP customer each month, or they purchase 1 VIP membership voucher each month that they can use at a later date. But to be qualified, a person must sponsor 1 business associate on their left and 1 business associate on their right. Now, to get the maximum payout, which we want to obviously earn the maximum on the D2 Power bonuses, again, we must sponsor 6 people. If we sponsor only 2, 1 left, 1 right, that automatically qualifies us for 10% cycle bonus on the weaker volume side. Now here we just are showing 2 people, but that's to reflect your need or requirement to sponsor 2 to get the 10%. Now those 2 don't have to be qualified for you to get 10%. However, in order for you to get 15%, you have to have 2 people on the left that are both qualified and 2 people on the right that are both qualified. And you can actually go up to 20% by having 3 on your left, 3 on your right that have all 6 personally sponsored 2 people, 1 on their left, 1 on their right. Now they're qualified, and as long as they remain active, you're now in a position to earn the maximum payout on the D2 side of our new enhanced compensation plan, which overlays our existing comp plan. So I know this is making sense to some of you. For some of you, you may be seeing or hearing some of this for the first time. And so I want to focus now on some terms that you may or may not be familiar with. Because when we look at our left and our right side, depending upon which side of your sponsor's business you are, meaning on their left or right side, that's going to affect what we call your team, power, or common leg, usually referred to as a common leg because it's the leg you have in common with your upline. And your personal money leg is the side of your business, the inside leg that you're 100% personally responsible for. So let's look at this illustration. In this illustration, you want to focus on getting your 3 left and 3 right that have sponsored their 2 and they get qualified. Now, of course, as your people are sponsoring their people, that volume is generating cycle checks for them, as we've just illustrated. It's also volume that can generate cycle checks for you because, as I'm going to show you in this illustration, your upline, if they've already sponsored 1 left, 1 right, they could be sponsoring people under you, illustrated by the yellow and green arrows. We sometimes in the industry call this spillover. Very exciting to see people and volume showing up in your business, and even more exciting to get paid on it every single week because D2 is paid weekly. So again, in keeping with what we're talking about, the personal money or inside leg and the team power or common leg is depending upon whether you're on the right side or on the left side of your personal sponsor. Now, in the previous slide, we showed you how your team power leg could be on your left side if you were on the left side of your upline, your sponsor's business. But in this case, this individual in this illustration is on the right side of his upline sponsor. So it's the right side that is the team leg, the common leg, or sometimes also called the power leg. And you can see here the inside leg, because there's nothing in common with the upline. We call that the inside leg or the personal leg or the money leg. But still, we get paid based on the volume. We get a power cycle bonus every time a sale occurs on the left and right. Every time $400 in volume is generated, or any combination of 400, 800, 1200, 1600, 2000, 2400, as long as you have volume balancing you on your left and right, you're maximizing the payout because you want to try to maintain balance. This is a 50-50 comp plan, dual team comp plan, so you want to try to maintain balance as much as you possibly can. Again, that's why we're having this training, is because first of all, we want you to understand that if you haven't yet sponsored 6, you want to do so as soon as possible. Work with those people to make sure they sponsor their 2 to get them qualified. But if you already have the 6, as you move forward and you're wondering, should I sponsor them left or should I sponsor them right? I recommend that you look for someone in your support line, someone above you that has experience, and perhaps discuss this with them. The other thing you want to look at is the terms of the strength of the individuals, how much volume they're generating, because everyone builds at a different pace. Some are rabbits and run fast, some are tortoises and go slow. Some are just in between. So if you have a lot of volume on one side, I recommend that you try to balance that volume as you build your structure, but ultimately you want to keep in mind you need 3 qualified BAs on your left and 3 qualified BAs on your right. Now, other things that some people consider is obviously personalities or the geography. If people that you're working with happen to be in the same area, it's sometimes good to put them together. But again, I recommend you get with your upline, find someone qualified, and just use common sense in terms of how you want to try to place. The most important thing to remember is to try to maintain balance, because at the end of the day, I tell people if it's going to be, it's up to me. I don't expect or rely anyone in my upline to sponsor people under me. If and when they do, that's great, that's wonderful. But if it doesn't happen, hey, I'd much rather build 2 legs than have to build 3 or 5 or 10 like so many other comp plans. And I'd much rather get paid on infinite volume through infinite depth so that I can max out the compensation plan very, very quickly, because people can live like kings on $1.3 million a year, and that doesn't even count the G2 income in our compensation plan, which in future trainings we'll talk about, because you'll make more money from that than the D2 side, but D2 pays you very fast, allows you to build a big check fast, and then of course ultimately our biggest income is going to come from our back-end comp plan, which we'll also do trainings on in the future as well. Now, what you're going to be receiving tomorrow is an email on November the 1st that will share with you how you're going to log into your DubLi Network back office, and you're going to see all your frontline BAs. And you're going to move them either to the common leg by highlighting them and then clicking the arrow, which you see under the blue box or turquoise box there that says move to the common leg. Now, unfortunately, sometimes we make mistakes or we change our mind. No problem. You can highlight them and delete selected and start over again. But you want to decide who you want to put on your inside or your money leg or your personal leg, and you want to decide who you're going to put on your team leg or your common leg. And what you're going to do is just highlight that. Now, the email will give you specific instructions on how to do this, but this is what it's going to look like in your back office. And you want to make sure that you get on this right away, because you only have November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to make the placements. Otherwise, they're automatically going to be placed for you the same way team members, team leaders, and team coordinators are going to have their frontline placed. And very simply, here's how it works, because we've been getting a lot of questions from them as well. If you are not a sales director or above, your first active, based on chronological date of enrollment, your first active BA, regardless of rank, is going to go in your team or common leg. The next 2 people that you've sponsored, assuming you've sponsored a total of 3, but your number 2 and number 3, based on chronological date and them being active, will be placed in your personal or money leg. And then number 4, back in the team common leg, number 5, back in the personal leg, and it will alternate for some of you sponsor monsters out there that maybe have sponsored 10, 15, 20, or 30 people. Although most people have not sponsored that many, but we want to try to help everyone start off on the right foot and be balanced, because ultimately on a weekly basis, you're going to be looking at your business and organization and trying to always maintain balance. When you have weaker side volume, there's where you're going to concentrate. So that's going to wrap things up for us for now. We'll be looking forward to seeing you all in the upcoming events throughout the world. And so I hope this has been insightful and helpful for all of you. For now, I'll just say goodbye until we see each other again.